Here's an Asus motherboard which costs £20 with 4GB RAM included. Here's a PCIe Express to PCIe card adapter with a Intel Wi-Fi card, which I happen to have. A bunch of drives which I happen to have, and a power board which allows the thing to run from 12 volts. That costs £6 from eBay. This motherboard has 4 SATA ports, which is why I chose it. So I want this really to act as an access point, hence the Wi-Fi card, a backup server, hence the 4 SATA ports, and a media server. First we need to find what type of Wi-Fi card is on the computer, so let's list the PCI devices, and here we can see we have a Intel wireless 3160. Okay, so next we need to update the apt-get sources, because the firmware for Intel is part of the non-free stuff. So let's use Vim. You might have to install that. Vim's just easy apt source.list. Okay, so you need to add this line. You need to add this non-free. Okay, save that. Okay, now you need to update your stuff. Apt-get update. Now this won't work because I'm actually logged into an SSH shell, so this will fail for me, but otherwise it will work for. And then you want to find the firmware to install, so do an apt cache search. And you want to search for Intel, and then grep that and search firmware perhaps. They were my guesses to narrow it down, and here we go. I'm sure an internet search would give you the right results. You want to do an apt-get install this. Apt-get install firmware Wi-Fi. Now this will fail because I have no internet. Okay, so we've got our Wi-Fi done. Now you're going to want to install this package. What was it? IW. It's got some handy features for working with wireless. It shows manipulous wireless devices and their configurations. So before we even attempt to make a access point, let's just check that the wireless card is able to do that, otherwise you'll potentially waste a lot of time. So we're going to grep and show the next eight lines. Grep the output of IW list, and here we have access point mode, which is excellent news. So now we need to install host APD, which is a really neat daemon that lets you set up access points relatively painlessly. Okay, so again, I'm not online, so I won't get it, but I've already got it installed. Okay, so we need to configure this thing. etc host. If this file doesn't exist, make it. So this is what my file has got. It specify the interface that the daemon is to work on. That's my wireless interface. This is some driver for working with the wireless. I've done this several times and it's always been this. SSID, that's the name of your Wi-Fi, hardware mode, G, or whatever your Wi-Fi card supports. Channel 6, I believe 6 is has the least interference, don't quote me on that. Auth, algorithm, algs, I'd have to look at the man page to know what that means. Some mode of operation, I have to look at the man page again for that. Then you want to put your passphrase here. Key management, again I'm not 100% what these things mean, but you can read it in the man page. Okay, then you want to install it as a service. I've already got it installed as a service, so I'm not going to hit enter. So update rc.daemon host apd defaults, enter. Okay, now after that's done, there's going to be a file in etc defaults called host adp. Okay, and here you need to put your configuration file URL. Now that should work. A very handy way of debugging this is to just run host apd and pass the configuration file as an argument, and then standard out will show you if everything's all good or not. So if you just run that, I can't run it because it's running, and that's how I'm connected via SSH. So next we need to install DNS, so apt get install DNS MAS DNSQ, boom, da-di-da. Next you need to configure it, vim etc dnsmask conf. Okay, so you got handy comments all the way throughout this file which tell you what things mean. So the two entries that I added are accept interface, which means the DNS and DHCP server won't function on this interface, which is my Ethernet port, and then a DHCP range, which is 192.168.1.10 to 0.50, and leases are valid for 10 hours. Now if we look here, we can see that I have been given an IP address at the start of that range. The only other thing I edited in this file is this thing here. Now if we read this blurb at the top, da-di-da-di-da, these are settings recommended for a host running Samba. As I will be installing Samba, I just uncommented all these, and that was that. That's fairly painless. Next we want to update the host file. Hosts. Okay, and I added this line. So that means that I can handily just put in a name instead of an IP address. There we go. Now the interfaces file, etc network interfaces. So this is the Ethernet port. I don't really need that. Hot plug, I believe, is for USB devices. So this is my Ethernet port, which is just set to DHCP. This is my Wi-Fi port. So interface WLP2S0, static address of this, which is what was put in the host file, and that is that. I should have auto in there as well. WLP. Okay. So that's fairly basic. Next, you want to format your drives. So first list your drives, because the last thing you want to do is format the drive that has the operating system on. Let's list the drives that are available. So we use the fdisk. This takes a while. Go make a tea if you want one. Okay, I've got 3 drives. Okay, so what we're going to do is make sure that the drives are formatted properly. You don't want to touch this one, because that's where the operating system is. So I've got device SDB and SDC. Let's format this one because it's smaller. So we do fdisk dev SDC. Okay, now you're going to want to do delete first partition. Make sure there's no other partitions. No, okay. So now we want to make a new partition, make it primary. Select one. Use default values. Yes. And if you're unsure, you can always, as the command prompt tells you, press M for help. To write the changes, we press W. Kernel still uses auto. Okay. Okay, so now you want to format the drive, so you use MKFS. I use the file system ext4 because I've heard good things. Now supply the drive SD, what was it? SDC1 and hit enter. I'm not going to hit enter because that'll take a while. Okay, now you want to edit your FS tab, which allows drives to be mounted on startup. And here I've got the device as per this header here. I don't particularly know what these mean, so I just copied what was in there, what was on the internet. So the device, the mount location, you'll need to make this folder if it doesn't exist, so mkdir space /media / folder name, file system, and that's that. So at boot up, the drives will mount. Okay, now we want to install an FTP server. apt-get install pure FTP daemon. Nothing will happen because I've got no internet, but that seems like a well-trusted, respected FTP server. Now install Samba. So do an apt-get install Samba. Bloody blah. Then you want to edit the config file. Now I didn't change it at all, I just added this. So that's one of my additional drives with the path, valid users, read only, create mask, directory mask. And if you don't want any additional drives, if you just want a home drive, you don't even have to touch this file. I found that I had to use this to set my password for some reason, because otherwise I couldn't access the folders. So just do that with your username, and then you'll get prompted to enter your password, which will be your password to access the Samba folders. And then I wanted to install my media server. So after reading about it, I chose this Ebony. So do a wget on a download file from their website, and then install the package with a dpkg install blah blah blah. I've already got it installed. I don't know what will happen if I hit enter, so let's leave it at that. And then you do a reboot and it'll all work like magic.